Hello guys, welcome back to this series on data analytics with R. So in this video we'll see how can we read from a file. So if you have a CSV file or a text file, how can you read data from that? And then we'll see the list data type. So there's also something known as the list data type. We'll see that. How can we access the list elements? And then we'll see how can we see which variables are there in the R environment. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so there's a file that I have. So this is the path in my computer. So it says number.txt. So there's this numbers.txt file that I just had. It just has 1 2 3 4 numbers and it is .txt file. So how can we read it? Simple. You use scan function. You tell which file is it. Also please make sure that you have this uh, slash in your this thing. If so basically Windows uses this slash and this is not allowed by R. Okay, so it will give you an error, so make sure that you use this way. Okay. So when you do this, you see 1 2 3 4 is read into X. Okay, then you can read a table. So I have a table here, my table. So this says Texas, Florida, 1, 2, and then these things. Okay, so whatever is in quotes is actually the name. So these are the row names, these are the column names, and these are numbers. Okay, so this is a table, so you can do read table and then tell the file name, and that'll be read in Y. And this is it. So you have Texas, Florida over here, 1 2 over here. Okay, the other way is you can also choose file is equal to file choose. So there you can actually choose which file you want. It opens a dialog box like this, and then you can choose which. So say table.txt. So this is how table.txt looks like. It does not have this 1 2. Okay, so that is a way also that you can use to choose the file. Then you can read from the internet. So this is a website that is in the internet. You can see that over here, and this thing you can read in R directly from the internet. So it's that simple. Okay, so this is also allowed. Then say if you have a CSV file, so you can use that as well. So I wrote file.choose over here, so it opened the dialog box, and then say my table.csv. So now this is a CSV file. Okay, so like this you can actually if you have a CSV file, you can use that and load it as a data frame in R, and then do all the operations that you usually do. I mean, so all the operations that we did in the previous video, the data frame video, all those can be repeated over here as well. Okay, the second thing that I want to tell you is list. So this is also a data type. So now list is a flexible kind of a data type. Normally you have seen that say a vector uh, can have only one data type. So we saw in the vector video that if you have multiple data types in a vector, then so let me just give you an overview. Say I have a vector which has say numbers, characters, as well as true false. So now if you see A, you see everything becomes a character, and you can just verify this using the class. See, everything becomes a character. Although this was a number and this was logical, but still everything becomes a character because that is the most flexible data type. So if you want to actually include all these different data types, you can use a list. Okay, so a list can have different data types together. So like I've created a list over here. This has names. Say this is a name vector. This also has numerical vector, and this also has some logical vector. Okay, and when I do this, so it is somewhat similar to data frame because it stores these like this, but then here you don't need to have everything of the same size. So you can see this is 2 element, this is 4 element, this 2 element, so any size is okay. I mean, this is very flexible, you can have a lot of things. So this is similar to structure. If you are familiar with MATLAB or with C, there's a structure data type there. So it is similar to structure. You can have different data types altogether. So just a visualization of the different data types. So this is a vector, it is just one dimensional. Matrix is 2-dimensional. An array can be multi-dimensional, so 3 or 4 dimension. A data frame is like a table. It has different dimension. It has different data types over different columns. A list is all of them. I mean, you can have a list of everything. Okay, you can, in a list you can have all these data types together. Okay, so yeah, so you can see this over here. Next, how can you access list elements? That's very simple. You can use the $sign as you used to do in data frame. So say list has a X over here, so you just a list X 1 2 3 4. So 1 2 3 4 gives you these. Okay, further if you just want to access the first element of X, you type 1. That's it, so you get the 1. Okay, you can do the same thing with names. So say you say names here, so you get a run. Okay, that's simple. Also say if you want to access everything by numbers, then you need 2 brackets and then 1, and say this will give you all the names. That was the first thing. And then if you want further, you want to go to Sham, then you go like this. So these are the 2 ways by which you can access the list elements. Yeah, so this is pretty much about the list. And the third thing that I want to cover is variables in the R environment. So if you want to see which variables are used now, so you can just type ls bracket. So remember, if you don't type the brackets, it will give you the code of that particular function. So this is the code of ls function. So it's important to put these brackets. Only when you put the brackets, the function will be called. And these are the different variables that we have used. We have used a, that is somewhere here. This is a. Then we have a list that we just created. Then we have b that we defined somewhere earlier, and x, y, z. So these are the different variables that we have used currently, and this is in memory. Okay, so anything apart from this will give you an error. So here you can see there is no, say, x1. So x1 will give you an error, x1 object not found, because it is not there anywhere in the memory. If you type x, that will give you 1 2 3 4, the value of x, which we defined somewhere here. Okay, what else? Okay, you can also remove variables using the rm function. So if you so rm of, say, x will remove x for you. Okay, now x is not defined because there's no x over here because I removed x. Okay, so you can also remove all the variables like this. So if you type list is equal to ls, then it removes all the variables. So now you can see there are no variables used, everything is empty. So if you type a list, you get an error, a list not found. Also keep a track of these errors. These errors tell you a lot of things. So if you get an error like this, object a list not found, probably you have deleted a list somewhere, or your a list is never defined. Okay, so you can also read error and tell what is wrong. Okay, so yeah, that was all for this video. See you soon in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you.